Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Dr. Music Podcast once again, where today I have the honor of Derek Davis sitting in with me. Derek of Babylon A.D., original singer, a guitarist for the band. Over his career, more than 30 years now, Derek has recorded 8 albums with Babylon A.D., an album each with band projects American Blues Box and Moonshine, not to be missed. Those are great records too, as well as recording 3 successful solo records. Even had 2 songs go on at #1 on the iTunes Blues single chart. You do it all, man. Uh, Derek and Babylon AD just released yet another record. This record's called Rome Wasn't Built in a Day. It's on Paris Records. Derek, thanks for being here, man.
Yeah, glad to be here.
It's man, that I read that off and it's like, wow. That's you're a busy boy, man. And all really cool, different stuff.
Kind of sounds wild to me too. I'm like, I did all that.
It's cool, man. It's cool. I got hooked into Babylon AD in 89, 90 there, the debut. It lived with me for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, and it still does. But you go from that, and you've done records, of course, continued with that, but you do things like American Blues Box, man, and Moonshine. Different. They're different, and the solo records quite a bit different, especially Resonator Blues. Uh, that's you? Well, it's you being you, and that's obvious. It's so natural the sound. But it's necessary for you to do that, isn't it? Than to just stick to the Babylon AD stuff.
Yeah, well, when I write songs, I don't sit down and just write a song. I kind of just whatever happens, happens. And if it sounds like it's a slide blues thing, then I put it in that box. If it sounds like I'm writing a Bobby Womack kind of song, then that goes like in the soul box. If it sounds like I'm writing a heavier song, with some good riffs, then that goes in a Babylon AD box.
Man.
So I basically write in those 3 styles. Plus I write a lot of acoustic stuff. I don't know if you've seen any of my singles, but I have a lot of singles out that are just me and an acoustic.
Hmm.
So yeah, man. I mean, like when I write songs, I don't sit down to do any particular genre. It just happens, whatever it is, and then I kind of put the songs in the box wherever they seem like they fit.
Man, that's cool. That's cool. Do you see yourself stepping out into anything really unusual? Like a straight pop, or even something funk or hip hop. Is that's not really your thing, right?
No, I'm not really into hip
Okay.
hop I don't like country at all. I like the
Right.
old country, like Johnny Paycheck, stuff
Okay.
like that, Johnny Cash, but I can't stand the new country.
Okay. Yeah.
Um,
Is it
but
really country?
it sounds like early Bon Jovi to me. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
30 years ago.
Yep.
And the lyrics just seem a little juvenile to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I could see myself doing a funk thing. And I've got some songs recorded like that. I've also got a lot of songs that are recorded that no one's ever heard that are like kind of like a 9 Inch Nails kind of thing. You know what I
Okay.
mean? A
Yeah.
real heavy industrial type of stuff.
Okay.
Some of those tracks I wrote with Eric Pacheco, who was the bass player for a period of time in Babylon AD. He had a really industrial kind of sound to his music, and him and I co-wrote a lot of songs that no one's ever heard and no one's ever seen, but maybe someday I'll release them. I got a bunch of those kind of songs that nobody's ever heard. Maybe
Yeah.
just me, my wife, and a couple friends.
That's
You
that. That's exciting for me as a fan. I hear that and it's like, oh shit. That's so cool. You want to hear everything as a fan. So yeah, that's exciting, man. I hope you do. Get the time. You
But
know,
that's the key word, time,
totally. Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
time, man. And
Yeah.
you got to spend, like right now we're promoting the Babylon AD album. So that's all I've been living for about about last year. It's just Babylon AD. That's all I'm in, just
Yeah.
immersed in that. And that's it.
Yeah.
I could see that for probably another year until maybe the band starts making another album. Maybe in between I have something to do. to create some new stuff. I am writing some stuff with Babylon A.D's previous guitar player, Dan De La Rosa.
Okay.
And yeah, we've demoed 5 songs so far, and they sound really cool. They're kind of pop. They're like Cheap Trickish, kind of old Cheap
Okay.
Trick,
Yeah.
Green Day kind of thing.
Yeah.
They're a little different for me, but that's what Dan likes to. That's what he's into, So I said, yeah, I could go along with this.
Yeah.
So I'm always kind of creating and always kind of do something. I like to step out of my box because I don't like to just be pigeonholed,
Mhm.
or I'm just not comfortable just doing one thing all the time. It'd be like eating a steak dinner every single night of your life.
Right.
I
Yeah,
want some fish sometimes.
right. Right. Yeah. We love steak, but yeah, let's change it up a little.
I'll eat steak
Yeah.
twice a week, but I want to have something else too.
Yeah, yeah, and that's how I love my music. I know that. I dig into a little bit of everything, and that's why I've enjoyed your career so much. The Revolutionary Soul album is
Yeah.
super cool, man. I mean, I love getting that,
Yeah.
and Babylon A.D. That's super cool. Um, how do you feel you've changed as a writer? Have you changed as a writer from those late '80s, early on stuff till now?
Definitely. I think my lyrical content has got like 100% better. It's a lot easier for me to write songs, and maybe that's just because as you get older, um, I read a lot. I watch a lot of movies. I took an English class in college for a while.
Yep.
So all that little stuff kind of helps you, grow as a songwriter. And when you're on a major label like we were for the first couple albums, there's a lot of input by the A&R guys. You might have something you think is really cool, and it's 100%. You think it's 100% done, but they're like, well, why don't you say this instead? And so you got to go back and change a few things that you don't want to change, and it might be better or it might be worse, but it's still maybe you don't feel like it's 100% you writing the lyric. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like for instance, the song "Psychedelic Sex Reaction" we did on our second album.
Hmm.
I wrote all the lyrics to that, but that was basically, a song that was written already by Randy Jackson and Tom Pawnee.
Okay.
Jack Pawnee. I'm sorry, and
Yeah.
that was. But Clive Davis loved the song, but he wanted me to change the lyrics. I mean, we kept the chorus and the melody and things like that, but you know, I don't really necessarily like working like that because then I feel like I'm constrained from my own creativity or my own ideas. You know what I mean?
Right.
Not to say I won't write with somebody else that's a good songwriter that has good lyrical content and some good melodies. I'm not opposed to that, but I haven't really found too many people that I could write with. That brings that to the table. 90% of the people that I've written with in the past, co-written with, gave me music.
Right. Right.
And I could write music as well. So
Mhm.
sometimes they'll give me something. I'll go, all we got to do is change this pre-hook, or let's change this bridge section, or let's change the beat, or whatever it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
To write with the co-writer.
It's a little bit different now, right? With the record companies and the A&R guys being involved so much. It's a little less like that
Yeah.
probably now. Like you guys were on Frontiers before you're on Paris now.
Yeah.
Uh, Frontiers before big label. It's really a major label at this point.
That's real major label of all rock and roll bands. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
melodic rock. That is
I don't think of
that is
anybody
it.
else. Yeah.
Um, you know, um, Not real invasive though, from what I hear. They're not telling you that they want
Oh,
lyrics changed, right? They let you do your thing.
yeah. Basically, I'd say they give you about 90% of control. They've got a few ideas here and there, stuff like that.
Right.
Uh, and it's not. Yeah, you're right. It's not too invasive and stuff. And
Yeah.
Paris Records was a great label for us. They did promotion for us and things like that. But they've got so many bands. It's like one comes out every 3 weeks, or one comes out.
Right.
I don't know. 40 of them a year. You can't keep count. So
Yeah.
where are you in the shuffle? You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Where do you fit in? You know?
Yeah. Yeah. And they have some really big name bands too. So
Yeah,
they're gonna promote those, and
of
a
course.
lot of bands get lost. But Paris is doing well for you, which is great. You have a great relationship with them, I know. First single, Wrecking Machine. I think it's a great choice. It's old school Babylon A.D. And I can see a lot of people saying, "Hey, they're back." Well, they never left, folks. Come on. Uh, but I hear the nucleus of this song comes from an old cassette
Mhm.
recording that John Matthews did with Y&T drummer Leonard Hayes.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
wow. So how's this coming? Where do you find this thing and do you rewrite it? How does it work?
Yeah, so that was kind of a fluke, because I had about half the album written, and Ron had some songs. So I had some songs that we demoed with Ron. I had some songs that I had demoed with John earlier, like maybe 4 or 5 years ago, that we thought was gonna go on an album, but then COVID hit. All that debacle kind of slowed us all down, and everybody kind of went back to their boxes and did their thing. That's when I did the blues album, the soul album. It was like, well, it's Beans Babylon AD's not doing anything, let me do something. But so John was over here in the studio maybe about 6 months ago, and he goes, man, I got a track that's really cool, that I did the song with Leonard Hayes. It was just me and him in the studio, and we laid down some bass, but I think you'd like it, Derek, man. It's really cool. I've always thought we could do something with it. I said, well, bring it over, man. He goes, well, it's on cassette. I went, cassette?
What is that?
I said, you got a cassette machine? He goes, no, I don't have a cassette machine. Do I? So I was at my cousin's house a couple of days later, and I said, yeah, I got to get a cassette machine. He goes, oh, I got one. It's up in the attic. And I said, really? He said, yeah. So I got the cassette machine from him, and I cleaned
Wow.
it up. I got one of the found online one of the cassette cleaner things,
Yep.
and I cleaned it up, and I put the tape in. I went right off the bat. It was like within a minute. I was like, called John up. I said, I definitely could work with this, man. Good
Wow.
riff. Everything's basically there. We just need to put a breakdown and this and that kind of thing. And so then I came up with the lyrics pretty quick. The idea for the song, it just kind of spoke to me what the idea was about.
Yeah.
All I was hearing was AI, AI, AI. Every time I woke up and watched like the Financial Channel and things like that, that's all you ever heard. Nvidia and
Yeah.
Microsoft and Amazon and Google, and everybody's going AI, and the world's gonna Tesla, and
Right.
Elon
Right.
Musk talking about in 6 months from now AI is going to be smarter than any human on earth. So I'm like, whoa, I'm going to write this about an AI crazy robot chick that takes over the world and destroys it. You know what I mean? It
I
was like a
love it.
little miniature movie in my mind.
That's cool.
So it was pretty much that quick, the whole idea, everything. So the AI gave me a little bit of inspiration to write about.
Man,
So
that's cool. That's cool. Did you get the original tape? To have you put it on? You went to digital with it, right? I
no,
mean,
no, no. So I took the tape and just listened to it,
right.
and I put it back a couple of times, and then John came over and rewrote the whole song.
Right. No, I mean like the actual tape, have you digitized it? And I'd love to hear it. You know what I mean?
Oh,
So,
oh, oh.
like
I did
like put
put
it
it
as
on.
a special bonus track on the deluxe version or something.
Well, that track has no vocals on it. It's just him and
Right.
Leonard Hayes.
Yeah, yeah. But that's, it's that's cool.
Throw it on eBay and get $30.
As a fan, I'm one of those fans that, we want every little nugget of, all those little cool little demos that, sound terrible and they're on cassettes.
That shit. I
What was
got
that?
I got tons of that stuff.
Don't even
I keep
tell me.
thinking someday I'm going to let all these people hear these songs that no one ever heard, or the demos of them. Just what do I call it though? The collection of demo crap. What?
Yeah, right. I mean, that's the ultimate treasure trove for the fan, man. That's cool shit right there. Yeah, definitely. Um, now that's a song on the record that has a really different, special kind of story. It's a little bit different. Is there any other song on the record that stands out like that, where it has, the creation process was a little bit different than the rest?
Well, every song was kind of a little bit different than the rest, except for the songs that I wrote the music and all the lyrics to. So there's 4 songs that I did, but all the other songs, you know, um, Crashed into the Sun, Looking for a Heartbeat, that was with me and Ron. The good thing is, uh, the bass player Craig Pepe and the drummer uh, Dylan Soto, who just joined the band, they could write too.
Ah,
So
that's great.
I have an arsenal of like four guys that write music and me.
Yeah.
But
Now is
like
that
my guys writing music and I'm writing all the lyrics and melody, but I could get a few melodies out of these guys too sometimes. Why don't you try this kind of thing? So it's a
cool?
lot easier to write than just me doing everything.
Okay,
It's a
it is. Yeah,
longer process.
I would imagine there's some guys, that like that control a little bit, like, too many cooks in the kitchen kind of thing. But that's not you.
Well, it is in a way.
Okay.
That's the band because basically, I mean, they're all good songwriters and stuff like that. I never really get a whole song. It's just like, hey, what about this riff?
Right.
And maybe, and then maybe there's a drum machine to it, and maybe sometimes I'll get two riffs, and it's like,
Right.
oh, that's great. For instance, the song "Pain," our second
Mhm.
song on the album,
Yeah.
that was kind of a fluke because we were practicing and we were in between. We like took a little break, and Ron goes, "Hey, I want you to hear a new song I got that I'm working on." And he took me. He's got a little bedroom studio, and I listened to the riff, and I went, "Yeah, that's pretty cool." I like that. And he goes, and then John goes, "Well, I got a riff that's very similar to that, man." And I go, "Yeah." And he gets his guitar out, and he starts playing it, and it's about the same exact speed as Ron's riff, right? And,
Wow.
and I listened to him, John. I go, well, let me listen to Ron again. Listen to Ron's song. I mean, they're both in the same key of D. And I go, and they're both slow, plotting, driving. I go, let's just
Yeah.
stick them both together. We'll take the verse
Cool.
for yours, Ron, and we'll take the chorus for yours, John, and then we'll add a pre-hook. And within, I don't know, the band just went back in the studio, and they kind of pointed, Ron, play your riff, John, play, and the band just started
Wow.
slowly but surely meshing together till all of a sudden, half hour later, it's like, oh man, we got a good song.
Man,
And
that's
and I was already starting to sing like, the chorus to the song as I'm listening to the song, writing down lyrics, and went home. Uh I made sure I recorded those guys on my phone, went home, put it on my recorder, started working on the song. 2 weeks later, we got a really cool song.
Man, I love that process. I love
Yeah.
those things that yeah, without chemistry that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
You got to have guys who are willing to have some things change, when they bring in something, to fit it into something else. It's great to see that this band and these guys have that chemistry. You
Well,
can work
and
together,
also,
put out
also
great
it's
songs.
it's good for me because the guys trust my judgment.
Hmm.
They trust my judgment. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
they know that I'm never going to do or want to write a song or have a song or anything that I'm like, man, even get a little bit suspect about. They know
Right.
that I always want 100%. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what is Babylon AD?
Yeah.
There are songs that, I'm sure not everything fits into the Babylon AD focus.
Yeah. And sometimes you might be able to squeeze a song into that,
Mhm.
like it
Yeah.
doesn't sound like Babylon AD right now, the demo, but if we do this and that, and John, your guitar does, there's
Yeah.
certain ways you can start molding it into that.
Yeah.
We had one track that didn't make the album. It's called Got to Believe. And man, it is a great track. Everybody hears it goes, wow, that's a great track. But you know what they all say? That's not Babylon AD.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like Billy Squire or something.
Right.
But
Right.
it's a great track.
Yeah, that's got to be frustrating.
Yeah,
That.
sometimes it is because you got a song that's just like, man, this song is killer. But and we recorded it and everything. We did the drums, we recorded everything. And
Mhm.
then we had all the songs, we put them all out, and we gave them to a bunch of our friends and our management and different people. And a lot of them were like, dude, this song is a hit. You got to put this first on the album, that kind of stuff. But there
Yeah.
was enough people to say, I don't know, man, it really doesn't sound like Babylon AD to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
My vocal style was a little different. The song was a little different, more melodic, not a lot of leads going in your face, but it
Right.
it it might make the second album. We just got to try to figure out a way to squeeze it into that box. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. It's great that you have that much material to work with,
Yeah,
that
we
you're
got a few
that
songs.
inspired. And I think about that. Is there anything that inspires you to write more than anything, or do you're passing through, you're on a bus, you think of something, or does it happen at sound checks? Does it happen at rehearsals? Does it happen at night when you're laying in bed? Is there any one particular time, or anything like that where you're most motivated or most inspired?
I don't know if I could really say that. I know that I wake up a lot of times in the middle of the night with ideas, and I keep thinking like, where? How do I get? Is this my idea? You know, how do I get this idea? Should I keep playing it over and over and over in my head so I don't forget it? I'll think that, and I'll say, screw it, man. I'll get up and hum it into my phone, come down to my studio and get the acoustic out and go, dang, dang. Well, there's the basis of it, and then go back to bed and go to sleep. Get up in the morning, listen to it, and go, whoa, that's awesome. Or I might go, what the hell was I thinking?
Right. I should have just slept through
A
it.
nightmare. That's not a great feeling. Yeah. And then a lot of times it's kind of weird, man. I'm just like watching TV, watching a movie or whatever. And I usually have my guitar on my lap and kind of fiddling around. And all of a sudden it was like, what was that? It's not like I'm planning anything. It's just kind of like my fingers, because I'm not really trying to do anything. I'm just jamming on riffs while I'm watching something else.
Right.
Subconsciously, something happens where it's like, whoa, that was different. What? And then all of a sudden I'll start
Working
kind
on it. Yeah.
getting melodies in my head, or the lyrical idea. If I could get the lyrical idea, kind of like the title of a movie. If you can give me a title of a movie where I can write a song around it.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like sometimes love is hell. It's like that was just some popped in my head while I was going, I was playing acoustic, and all of a sudden, sometimes love is hell. Oh, wait, that sounds pretty cool. Sometimes love is hell. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
pretty soon you start going with that and writing the
Yeah.
lyrics of what that means, that
That's
kind of thing.
Man, it's a gift, man. It's really cool. It's
I
really
think
cool.
God gave me a gift for that kind of stuff. Yeah.
That's for sure. Let's talk about the title of the record. Rome wasn't built in a day. Maybe the catchiest tune on the record.
Yeah.
I think it's just it's in there and it's
Do
never
that
gonna
for a lot of
leave,
people. Yeah.
man.
It's like a tapeworm.
It is really it's pretty great, and it's a really cool song. It's a melodic song, heavy song, but a melodic song. How do you choose the name of an album? And that's a kind of a different title for an album. You could have called it Pain. You could have called it Face of God. You know,
Oh, so that's funny you say that, because those were two Wrecking Machine, Pain, and Face of God were all titles we were thinking about. And
yeah,
so I would make artwork and send it to the guys with the artwork that would fit Pain, or the
right,
artwork that would fit, whatever the title was going to be. And then it was last minute. Rome wasn't built in a day. It was last minute. I just kept thinking about it, like how it's such a cool, song, and such a cool title. We've all heard it before, but I really haven't heard it in a song.
hmm
So I put the album artwork together for that one too, because we were really thinking about going with maybe Face of God, you
yeah,
know.
yeah,
But we were kind of thinking like, is that a little too heavy for people? Some people are,
right,
how they're going to take it,
right,
uh, I came up with the Rome wasn't built in a day, and the artwork that I came up with was just the one we kept. The other ones had maybe 5 different artwork to one title. You know
yeah,
what I mean? We must
yeah.
have had 15 different artworks to titles, but Rome wasn't built in a day. It was just like, there's David with a bubble blowing a bubble
Yeah,
at night. Rome
yeah.
wasn't built in a day. It like fit perfect.
Yeah, it's really cool. And like I say, I mean, it's a great song to represent the record too. And I think it fits the Babylon A.D. type, the font, and that it has a Roman kind of, the
Yeah, yeah,
marble.
that was another thing. Right. I kind of wanted to make sure that it stayed in the Babylon AD historical kind of content of,
Mhm.
just the name Babylon AD, and that whole, that spiritual kind of historical, 2000 years ago, and that's just in my
Yeah,
mind. I mean, but how do you
it's
create that, and how do you get other people to catch on to it? But you yourself caught on to it just by
yeah, yeah,
putting.
yeah. That image really it fits with the font, like I say, and it
Yeah,
fits with the whole the look of what Babylon AD is about, and
It
in the
pretty much
past.
fits all, it kind of much it encapsulates what's the word, encapsulates,
Encapsulate, yeah.
yeah, all the kind of the creativity of the songs, really kind of,
Hmm.
it's
Yeah,
it's like kind of tells the story of all the songs in a way,
it's great. It's great. Face of God. I do want to touch on that. That is probably the most powerful song for me. I listen to it and it's just
yeah.
wow. It's one of those wow moments, man. I like all the songs on the record. I don't think there's a weak song on the record. Uh,
Mhm.
but Face of God is just one of those, man. With how does one write this song? Where does Face of God come from? It's just was that something that was, do you find it one of those songs that is a little bit extra special?
That's my favorite song, and that's, I believe that might be the best song I've ever written to
There you
me,
go.
because
Yeah.
it is the most meaningful. Other songs I've written that everybody loves, like "Desperate," things like that, that are ballads or whatever. They
Right.
have special meaning, sure, but they're just a story. The Face of God is like the story of my life, the story of my friends' lives, the story of my family's life, the story of the whole world's life, really,
Yeah.
because it's a question, and it asks, kind of like, are we alone? And if you are alone, maybe God is the answer. Maybe you should try that out.
Right.
Okay. So I'm not trying
Yeah.
to offend anybody, but I think that everybody has a goodness inside of them. Everyone has the face of God inside them if they could locate it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of strange because before the album even came out, some of our wives and family and stuff, they've had the record, you know what I mean, on their phones and things like that. But
Yeah.
of course, I'm told, don't you play it, don't you do that to nobody, kind of thing. But well, I've heard about three different stories of like, for I'll give you just one short one. Like, Ron's wife was working in her office and she was playing "The Face of God," and a girl started crying next to her.
Wow.
I was working with her.
That is powerful.
What is that song? This is the meaning of my life right now. It's touching me, you
Wow.
know? So, and
That
that's
is
the
awesome.
third story I've heard like that. So to me, it's like, maybe I was supposed to write that song at this time. Maybe I wasn't supposed to write it 10 years ago or 15 years ago. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
But I definitely, I mean, people that know me, I believe that God touched me when I was a child. I really do, man. I might sound freaky or whatever, but all the stuff that happened to me, um, my life, I know that somehow uh, God has saved me multiple times from different various things that I don't really want to get into, but and gave me the tenacity and the fortitude to write songs, and maybe there's a reason for it. I always thought there must be a reason. There must be a reason. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
me to be writing songs, you know, uh, and you pray a lot, things like that. When I was young, I prayed. I mean, I was naive. I prayed to get a record deal, believe it or not, and I got one.
Yeah. Look at
I
that.
prayed every night. Please, God, give me a record deal. When I look at it back now, I say to myself, how like how stupid of me. You know what I mean? To basically beg God to give me a record deal, but He gave it to me,
Yeah.
and then I kind of feel like I didn't do nothing with it. You know what I mean? I didn't. I kind of started leading the hedonistic lifestyle after I got it. I didn't stay true to how I got there. What I believed in it was how I got there. You know what I mean? I started partying like crazy, like like everybody else, man. Hey, Motley Crue, let's do it. That kind of thing.
Right.
And it was kind of like put God on the side, even though I knew He was always there.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
which
but
I
with
shouldn't have done.
without that record deal back then, you don't write, these songs now, and touch the lives now. We
Yeah,
don't get Face of God without that, probably. Maybe, but maybe, or,
yeah,
that person that cries when they hear it might not get to hear it because, you just might be doing it in your house and, it wouldn't be out here for everybody. So,
yeah.
there's a plan. It
That's what I
depending.
think. There's a master plan. I mean, I'm older now. I mean, you would think that if something like that, I was always going to write a song like that, it became a massive hit song. Let's just say hypothetically, it would have happened years ago or something when I was a young cat. But I probably couldn't have handled it.
Yeah,
I probably couldn't handle it.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yep.
Now that I'm older, I mean, why would I be able to write a song at this age that good unless there's a spirit, some kind of spiritual connection that made me write this? Because I swear that song came to me within 5 minutes.
Wow,
You
wow.
know, I was singing that chorus and playing the chords and everything, sitting there in my recliner chair,
It's awesome.
watching TV. And as soon as I went to Face of God, I stopped the TV and went bam, and I had the song written.
Wow. It's just it really is that's a higher power, that's a gift. That is
Yeah,
really
I
that's a
think
gift for us.
there was
Uh
some kind of higher power that and maybe that's what the world needs now. I don't know. Maybe somebody that's a main artist, Christian artist, or somebody can take it and make it a massive hit because the song to me it's a hit. Everybody who hears it goes, "Wow, that song's a hit." But you might offend somebody. You know what? Who cares if I offend anybody? I don't give a shit.
yeah. No,
You know what I mean?
it's no.
That song had to come out.
Yes, and and it's making people, it's moving people, it's talking to people,
Right.
it's
Exactly.
getting to people.
Exactly. It's not just some party good time song.
Right, right, and it's moving
Love it.
people in a really positive way, which we need for sure. Yes, and I appreciate that song. Thank you so much for it. You've had great opportunities to collaborate with some amazing musicians and producers. You do TV, film, other assorted things. Some things pay the bills, some things are creatively
Yeah.
stimulating.
Yeah.
Is there a particular thing that like your solo stuff, I really, I hear that and it's so different. I hear something like Rapture or, even like Sweet Cream Cadillac,
Oh yeah.
it's so
Those are cool
different.
songs.
It's
They are cool.
great, man, but you sound at home there. It doesn't, you sound at home with the Babylon stuff. Um, Tell me, but for you, is there, when you're doing Sweet Cream Cadillac, uh, is that more freedom for you? Is that comfortable for you? Or, you don't have to fit into anything when you do that kind of stuff. You're doing you. When you're doing Babylon, there's kind of an expectation,
Yeah.
so it might be a little more restrictive, a little more difficult. If, is there something, one particular genre or style that, if you could do it, is most comfortable for you?
That's kind of a hard question because I like them all. I
Yeah,
like
yeah, that's great.
acoustic stuff too. Uh, but I kind of think that, and a lot of people told me this throughout the years, especially when I was younger. It's like, man, you should be like in an R&B band, that's just like the shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
I, uh, because I think that my voice could, kind of fits in that Bobby Womack kind of
Oh yeah,
Al James Brown, Marvin Gaye stuff when I wanted to. You know,
totally. The Revolutionary Soul album is a great
yeah,
example of that. That's
exactly.
James Brown all the way, man. A lot of that.
People tell me that. How'd you do that, man? I like, well, that's what I actually grew up on, man.
Yeah, it's so cool, man. It's great. I love
So,
it.
yeah, I always kind of, I wish there was a way that I could have a band that was, that could just bring that 1970 Detroit Motown sound back. That'd be so cool.
Yeah,
But
no doubt.
it's hard to get. It's hard to get that sound. And it was tough. I mean, I think I got pretty close on that album.
Oh
I
yeah,
listened to a lot of old stuff, and I figured out the reverbs. I went on YouTube a lot and figured out what reverbs they were using and things like that to try to capture that sound. You know what I mean?
I got
Uh,
it.
yeah, same thing when I do it with the blue stuff. I'll like listen to Elmore James and Son House and all the old cats, the Muddy Waters, the real guys. Not the
Yep.
not the fluff that's been out for the last 20 years.
Yep.
But you know, so I guess you could say I'm imitating, I don't know, or acting or whatever, but I love it. You know what I mean? I
Yeah,
love that shit, and I could feel it. I want to do it.
yeah.
And it's exciting for me because it's like I get to step out of my box way out there.
Yep.
And sometimes I go, shit, no one's gonna like this stuff, man.
Oh man.
Rocker's gonna like this. I think to myself, and then I go, who gives a shit?
There you go. Hey, man, you have to get out there, do you, man. And
Yeah.
that's what I don't know as a fan, as myself as a fan. That's what I want to hear. I want to hear what you want. What coms naturally. What's in your heart, what's in your soul, and I feel like I get that. With whatever you do, and that's why I really appreciate your career. Is
Let me
I
ask you a
never,
question. Let me
yeah,
ask you a question. So you might think this is strange, but for some reason, man, I don't know what it is, but about the last 2 months, I've been listening to like a lot of the band, Simon and Garfunkel, Bob Dylan, and I'm
okay,
thinking to myself, or old like after the Gold Rush, Neil Young. I'm thinking maybe I could write an album like that. That just is sparse with piano and acoustics. In my head, this is what I'm thinking. I
yeah.
haven't. I got a couple songs like that, but I keep thinking to myself, is that like stepping way far out of the box?
You know what? I mean, when I listen to all that stuff. I love Jim Croce. Jim Croce's
Yeah,
probably,
dude.
James Taylor is a warm
Yeah,
blanket, for me.
yeah.
The Simon and Garfunkel stuff. I just love that kind of stuff. And
That's
then
what I'm at.
I listen to the Slayer albums. Uh,
Yeah.
in the same way, I love that too.
So you're kind of like me, music is like just another movie, a different type or whatever. And some guys
Yeah,
are just pigeonholed, and that's all they like. It's like that's it.
yeah,
Man, I feel
yeah.
sorry for you.
Seriously, seriously. But you know what? The most important thing for me is when the artist has to be who they are. Like when I listen to Slayer, that's what they want to do. Clearly they are vested in that. And
Yeah,
Jim Croce, when he plays his guitar, his heart and soul is coming through his fingers. I can feel it. It's a power.
yeah,
It's the same power that Slayer gets.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
still an electricity. It's just
It's
a
like
different
real
sound.
emotion coming through, right?
So, as long as you're doing, you're putting your heart and soul in it, and it's not, what the A&R guy wants,
Yeah.
I'm gonna
I could
feel
never
it.
get away with any of the stuff that I write with that
Yeah,
makes people.
you know,
There's
uh,
no
that,
way.
that's a beautiful thing, and that's what I love about music, man. If I'm getting the artist through those sounds, that's a powerful thing for me, man. I feel closer to the artist. That's something that they're playing for me. It's a very personal thing. Not everybody hears it that way, but I think there are a lot of people that do.
Mhm.
So yeah, I wouldn't be afraid to do that, man. Uh, you know,
Might do that someday, but I got so much other stuff on my plate before. But I just find it kind of. My wife thinks I'm crazy. What are you listening to? I'm like, what do you mean? This is the real shit.
yeah,
The best lyrics are, man. Every single song. If you listen to Hurricane Carter by Bob Dylan, you're like, how did you write that song,
yeah,
man?
yeah,
How? You know what I mean? 27 verses or whatever the hell it is.
right,
It's
yeah,
crazy. That's talent to me. And that's where I just want to get kind of close to that. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Yeah. Well, and I think everybody, that's the bar that's set for sure.
Yeah.
We all know that. How many people have come Dylan,
Sorry, man.
yeah, no problem, man. No problem. I'm almost done here. We'll wrap it up. I see Babylon A.D. out there. I remember, I've been married for 32 years. I remember driving around with her as a girlfriend, listening to that first record, man. She's not a big music fan, but she probably knows that record. That it was on all the
The
time.
hammer swings down. She's like, all
Uh,
right,
yeah,
man.
oh yeah,
It's enough.
not again. Uh,
Yeah.
so that was a long time ago. Not every band, makes it this long. And I mean, you're not playing, the big football stadiums, to have that kind of longevity. What do you think it is? Is it? I think it's you being you. Personally, I think we get you, and it's natural and it's real. But from looking at your career, how is Babylon AD still out there doing its thing. How have you had that longevity?
Um, there's been ups and downs throughout the years where it got really slow, where I've even felt like, what the hell's the point? You know what I mean? Well,
Right.
what's the point? I think kind of what helped though, be honest with you, I've kind of thought about this a few times. I think like even though you know, the social media thing, sometimes I just freaking hate it, you know what I mean? But I
Yeah.
think if it wasn't for like Facebook and a lot of these other places, Instagram and stuff, a lot of us bands that were around back then probably wouldn't have a kind of a voice because there's a lot of people that go back and find, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Find the little treasures of what they like, and it kind of is enough to kind of keep you alive, to keep you moving, and then it kind of gives you uh, as a band or as an artist a reason to keep on going because you're like, hey, there's a few people that still want to hear what I got to say, which
Yep.
is cool. You know,
Yep.
I'm not just playing on my bed and recording songs and no one's ever going to hear them. Someone's going to hear them, and it might touch. For me, it's like this might touch someone's life. That's
Yeah.
what I think a lot when I'm writing. Maybe this can, maybe this will help somebody somehow, or maybe it'll just, I'll write a song that just piss everybody off, but I'm going to try to get an emotion. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Yep, and it's great, man, and I think you do. Obviously, you do. When you have people hearing a song and weeping as they listen,
Yeah,
that's
that's
powerful, man. That
yeah.
is powerful. Would you do anything different? Looking back, knowing the business the way you do, is there anything you would have done differently?
I think I would have been more a little bit when we first started. You get that like kind of thing on your shoulder. Well, freaking, I'm a rock star kind of thing. That's because everybody's saying you yes. Everybody around you is telling you yes. No one tells you, dude, no, man. Don't. Nobody tells you no. So you start getting that chip on your shoulder. I think I would have treated people a little bit different. A lot of friends of mine that lived in LA at the time, musicians, I still talk to every once in a while, but you know, there was like I had some really good friends, man.
Yeah,
That just as time goes by, you're just lazy. You don't talk to them for 5 years or something.
right.
And there was moments in your life that you wouldn't trade for nothing, that you were with them every day for like 2 years or something. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? That kind of thing. I wish I would have been more. I guess, like my wife says, you're not outgoing. You make friends, but then you just kind of let them call you. I wish and I don't know why that is. And some people call me a dick for that. But I don't know. I'm just kind of. I guess I'm in my own world thinking about songs all the time.
yeah, 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 yeah. No, I think that's a lot of people. Yeah, it's nothing personal. I
Yeah,
never take
it's
that
nothing
personally.
personal to anybody.
Yeah, yeah, that's cool. Something you've always wanted to do. Haven't had a chance yet in your life, either personally or professionally.
Uh, Man, I'd like to share the stage with like Mick Jagger or Rod Stewart or somebody
Yeah,
like that, man. You know
that'd
what I
be
mean?
cool, man. That'd be cool.
That
That'd
would
be
be my dream because those guys, I seen Rod Stewart about maybe 2 months ago and I could not believe it. I mean, what is he, 82 years old?
I know it's
He's
crazy.
rocking on that stage, man.
It's
And
crazy.
watching him just give me like, man, I could make it another 30 years. Shit,
Yeah,
this ain't him.
it
You
is
know,
inspirational, man.
he must have sang 20 songs and he was singing great. There was
Yeah,
no fake stuff like a lot of bands got, the fake background vocals,
right,
fake lead vocals. Nowadays, it's like, AI taking over, doing everything for them because we're getting older. And so you get lazy.
right,
And
right.
I don't like any of that stuff, man. I like the shit that's real. And the
Yep.
cool thing about Rod was he popped out like a lot of Faces songs. He went through probably 7 or 8 songs of the Faces
Yeah.
and had the Faces behind him, big giant screens while he's playing and he's doing all their songs and stuff like that. It was like, it was cool, man. And like he went through a whole little history book. He wasn't
Yeah.
just doing show songs of, that kind of thing.
Right. Yeah. He respects the history.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The
So,
cool.
so I hope someday that I could keep on plugging along and maybe be talking to you 15 years from now and go, oh, Derek, you got like 35 albums now.
That would be
I
great.
just wish one of them would have went platinum.
Yeah, I mean hey, that's you're putting it out there, man. You're living the dream, man. Really. That's not everybody gets to play and have people hear the music. That's success, man.
I just noticed that Montrose album on the
Oh,
behind.
my favorite record of all
That's
time.
my that's my favorite record of all time.
Oh man,
Swear
yeah.
to God,
Oh,
I still play that record all the time. That's my favorite album, man.
oh, it's
That
just
that that was one. Hagar was one of the guys that taught me how to sing. Him and Steven Tyler's the first three albums of Aerosmith.
that's
Man,
just
that's all I listened to when I was like 12, 13, 14 years old. That's it. That's all I listened to.
man, I wake up every morning and I hear the riff to Rock the Nation. Uh,
Yeah.
na 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 na. I just hear that. That starts my day, man. I don't even have to play it anymore.
Yeah,
It's
all that
just,
whole album is great. It's funny because me and
oh,
Dan Rosa just had a band. We were called the Heavy 470s, and it was just a fun band to play with some of our friends. And we played with Ben Wong, who played bass with Montrose for a while, and we played with drummer Marty Schuart, played drums with Greg Kinn for about 12 years. So it was just us four, and we just did it for a kick, right? But we did like 7 songs of Montrose, 7 songs of Aerosmith, 7 songs of Thin Lizzy, and 7 songs of UFO.
oh, there we go.
Well,
Wow.
it was like reliving your history of like a kid, the
Oh,
first
that's killer.
albums that meant everything to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh,
And all
yeah.
of us were like, we must have played about maybe 15 gigs just around the Bay Area, just for fun.
I love
You know,
it, man. Oh,
it was
and that's a blast, man. I
it
mean,
was a blast.
I listened to that record. It's so raw and it's so real, and
I know,
it's
man.
just and Lizzie's Live and Dangerous. These are records
Yep.
that lived with me as a kid. I was 8 years old listening to
Oh
this
yeah.
stuff.
Just they lived with me inside your bedroom, inside your car, everywhere you went. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They were just yeah,
Yep.
I know, man. I was there, dude.
Oh yeah, man. I love it. That's so cool. Yeah. Derek, this has been great, man. Let's do it. We'll do it in 15 years, no worries. But let's
Once a
do
year
it.
we'll catch up.
Yeah, 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 for sure. I love that, man. BabylonADBand.com. The album's out there. See what's going on with Derek at Babylon AD
All
Band.
more than built in a day. Coming
There
out
it
with
is, man.
5 days from now, the 17th. Yeah.
It's just awesome, man. Thank you so much. Yeah,
Yeah.
let's do it again, man.
Okay, brother.
All right.
I'll,
Take care,
bye-bye.
brother. Bye.